Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
What does Canada's national anthem have to do with sunscreen? We know what sunscreen is. Our parents put it on us when we were very young. Now, we put it on ourselves, or risk getting skin cancer. Our grandparents didn't have to worry about sunscreen. In their day, sunscreen didn't exist. Our use of aerosol products caused the ozone layer of the Earth to become increasingly depleted, so the harmful effects of UV rays on our skin increased. This threat to our health came from our failure to recognize the impact our behavior can have on the environment. But don't just take my word for it. Read about the ozone layer depletion for yourself at this website. Or read what the Canadian government has to say about it with their document, Ozone, the Earth's Sunscreen. We can have an impact on our own well-being when we ignore the negative impact our behavior has on the environment. Our grandparents were once our age, probably in the 60s. They were the hippies, the flower children. They didn't just want to change their communities, they wanted to change the world. They protested the Vietnam War, a society too focused on materialism, their government for their short-sightedness in destroying the environment, and bigotry and intolerance. What has changed in 40 years? We don't have the Vietnam War, we have the war in Afghanistan. Today, our focus on materialism puts us at risk of destroying the environment. And people have won their rights in society, but have negative attitudes changed? Discrimination? Back in the 60s, we couldn't conceive of a tie between the environment and climate change. Today, we're not so sure that connection doesn't exist. So what can we learn from the flower children? Their lofty idealism faded with time, but the importance of their underlying cause has not changed in 40 years. Should Canadian soldiers continue to die in Afghanistan? Is our materialistic culture destroying the environment? Is the destruction of the environment impacting our well-being? Have we become more tolerant of visible minorities? These are important questions. I'm voting in the federal election for the first time, as I'm sure many of you will be too. First-time voters like us have many years in front of us, yet our futures are being decided by people many years older than us. We will inherit the country and the planet from those in government today, so we need to get out there and vote on October the 14th. Which leads to the question, who should we vote for? If we're asking the same questions we did 40 years ago, and we're facing the same problems we did 40 years ago, it seems to me nothing has changed. If we change nothing, nothing will change, but we need change. Vietnam or Afghanistan, it makes no difference. It's a war we don't need. Can our negative behavior have an impact on the environment? It already has. You don't have to believe me. Have a look at David Suzuki's website. Have we become more tolerant? I'm not sure, since many voters have difficulty accepting a potential prime minister of the ESL variety. We need a government that sees what the flower children saw back in the 60s. We need a government that recognizes the importance of the environment in creating a healthy economy, where healthy does not mean the creation of wealth through the destruction of the environment. There are 4 primary parties to vote for in the upcoming election. Only 2 of the 4 parties have the experience to run the country. And one party wants to continue with business as usual and sees environmental concerns as secondary to economic growth. The other party wants to protect the environment in order to create a sustainable economy. But maybe we need to define environment. Environment is everything around us, the air, the oceans, the plants and trees, the animals, the weather, and the ground we walk upon. It is the earth itself. Anything you eat, drink, purchase, own, or use in your everyday life comes from resources that come from the earth. The economy exists because of the resources we take from the earth. In fact, the economy depends on the earth for its very existence. If we don't take care of the environment, there won't be an economy to worry about. The Conservatives do not understand the need to protect the environment. They want to continue down a path that has clearly not worked since the 60s. The Liberals recognize the importance of protecting the environment to better ensure economic survival for generations to come. But the Liberals have a leader of the ESL variety. Should that stop us from voting for him? His message is difficult to understand, which means we have to listen harder. The Liberals recognize the connection between the well-being of the environment and the well-being of the economy. They also recognize the connection between the well-being of the environment and the health of all Canadian citizens. Dion is putting long-term vision ahead of short-term gain. Isn't that better for us, the new voters, and the future leaders of the country? Yes, we are the future leaders of the country, but what kind of country will we inherit? It all depends on who you vote for on October the 14th. Make your voice heard. Register to vote. It only takes a few minutes. Go to the polls. Vote for change. Vote for the environment. Vote for your Liberal candidate.